So how do each of you choose the books for your classes? And along those lines, can you give parents, moms, a recommendation for how they could pick literature for their own children?
I the thing that I love the most, I think, about literature is that there's a collaboration between the writer and the reader. Every writer writes with something to communicate. They may do it instinctively, they may do it on purpose. However, that's what I really love to explore. And so I choose books that really touch on some deeper issues. Believe it or not, one of the books we cover in the middle school class is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And without fail, my middle school students think this is just a fun book. And then we start talking about, now I don't know, I didn't meet Lewis Carroll, and they think that's funny. Um, so I don't know his heart in what he was writing, but the more I studied that book on my own to teach it, the more I realized that the theme here has to do with growing up from childhood to adulthood. And then that takes all these crazy rules and all the crazy ideas in the story, and it starts to make sense. So I choose books for my own children, for my own reading, and then for my students. Books that we can talk about deeper issues and relate them to their lives so that they can see just how important it is to engage with the reader, for the reader to engage with the writer, and to grow because of the stories that they read.
What about you, Bev?
Well, one of my goals in both of my classes is to make sure that we're reading different genres. So we do a historical fiction, we do a realistic fiction, and we do a fantasy. So we talk about all three of those. And one of the things, like some students, all they ever read is realistic fiction. They never ever think about reading a fantasy, or vice versa. They only read fantasy and never think about realistic fiction. So I do try to, kind of get them to read something different. I also love, books that won the Newbery Medal. And I'm sure, if parents are looking for books for their kids to read, I'd be like, start with the Newbery list, because there's a reason why all those books won a Newbery. The word choice that the authors use, the figurative language is, usually just tops in those books. So some of the books that I've chosen are definitely Newbery